Every year, the average database loses 20% of active customers to churn, the rate at which people stop opening emails, clicking, and buying. The standard industry response to this decay is a mass win-back campaign. When a subscriber goes 90 days without opening a message, the system automatically blasts them with a heavy discount code to solicit a return visit. This approach assumes every address on that inactive list represents the exact same buyer. It groups someone who bought one pair of socks years ago with a loyalist who spent $1,000 last quarter but missed a few recent emails. Giving a steep margin-cutting discount to a customer who was never going to buy again wastes money. Offering that exact same discount to a highly profitable customer who just needed a gentle reminder erodes your bottom line. But lost revenue is a secondary problem. Sending mass blasts to dead inboxes triggers a hidden algorithmic penalty that damages the entire marketing operation. Blanket win-back campaigns fail to recover lost revenue. And worse, they actively jeopardize your ability to reach the healthy, active buyers who want to hear from you. Email service providers, or ESPs, like Google and Microsoft, track how users interact with incoming messages. They carefully measure negative engagement, actions like deleting a message without opening it, or leaving it untouched in the inbox for months. ESPs use negative engagement to calculate a sender trust score. Blasting unengaged users spikes ignored messages, dragging your score into a warning zone. Algorithms then automatically route your campaigns to the spam folder, even for loyal buyers. An inactive database is a severe liability. Every unengaged address on that list acts as an active threat to your domain's health and your ability to reach the inbox. To safely reactivate lapsed users without triggering these spam filters, you have to dismantle the monolithic database and isolate exactly who is worth emailing. Surviving this strict filtering of the modern inbox requires abandoning volume-based blasting and adopting multi-dimensional data modeling to target specific buyer behaviors. We need a system that separates users based on precise behavioral variables rather than a single flat measure of time. This requires an RFM model. RFM stands for recency, frequency, and monetary value. Look at this horizontal axis representing the first dimension, recency. It measures the days elapsed since a customer's last purchase, sorting users onto a single line. We divide this timeline into 5 equal segments. The most recent buyers receive a 5, and the most inactive receive a 1. A customer's specific recency score dictates the timing and urgency of a reactivation attempt. It tells you exactly when to intervene. A user who hasn't purchased in 30 days might just need an email highlighting new products. A user who has been inactive for 90 days requires a stronger incentive to break their pattern of disengagement. But time elapsed cannot measure the actual historical value of the customer. A user who bought a single sticker gets the exact same recency score as someone who spent $5,000 30 days ago. Without additional data dimensions, you risk offering deep, margin-cutting discounts to shoppers who have never generated significant profit for your store. Recency tells you exactly when to intervene, but used alone, it fails to identify who is actually worth the cost of that intervention. To solve this, we introduce the second dimension, frequency, shown as a vertical y-axis measuring the volume of past actions. By scoring users from 1 to 5, we mechanically separate one-time buyers at the bottom from the repeat loyalists clustered at the top. Now we add the third dimension, monetary value, extending outward on the z-axis to represent total historical spend. Plotting all 3 variables generates a unique 3-digit behavioral profile for every single inactive user. Take this user, located in the high-spend, low-frequency sector. They have a profile of 325, average recency, low frequency, but a very high historical spend. This buyer does not need a cheap percentage off coupon. A 325 user requires VIP access, early product releases, or high-touch concierge outreach to reactivate their high-dollar purchasing habits without degrading the brand. Contrast them with a 121 user in the bottom corner of the matrix. This profile indicates slipping recency and extremely low historical spend. Because their historical value is low, the 121 user is the mathematically correct target for an escalating, aggressive win-back sequence using steep discounts. You have very little profit margin left to protect with them. The 3D RFM matrix organizes a chaotic list of dead emails into precise behavioral pods. This granularity ensures you never cheapen your relationship with high-value customers by sending them generic mass marketing. Knowing a user's score is only half the equation. You also have to use a contextual trigger, which means your reactivation offer must specifically map to the customer's last known interaction. We can see this in action through a case study by RFM Cube, analyzing the strategy of the Italian e-commerce retailer Relaxan Shop. Relaxan Shop needed to re-engage a large segment of hibernated customers. These were users with a recency score of 1 who had not purchased anything in over a full year. This chart displays the results of their campaign. They achieved an average order value that was 30% higher than their baseline, generating a 6.4% boost in extra revenue purely from those hibernated segments. They achieved this through specific split routing logic based on past purchases. Dormant users who previously bought containment underwear were offered a free complimentary cream. Those who bought elastic socks were offered free patches. Offering a highly relevant complementary item specific to a past purchase is more persuasive than a flat percentage off coupon. It solves a precise problem the user already has. This purchase history mapping proves to the customer that the brand remembers their preferences. It validates the relationship rather than just soliciting a pulled transaction. Profitable reactivation requires matching the mathematical timing of an RFM score with a hyper-specific, historically relevant product offer. The final and most essential function of the RFM matrix is identifying exactly who to abandon completely. Look back at the 3D scatter plot. Down in the absolute bottom corner nearest the origin point is the 111 cluster. These users have no recent activity, made a single low-value purchase years ago, and have ignored all initial win-back attempts. These users require a process called sunsetting. Sunsetting is the deliberate purging of the lowest decile of unengaged subscribers from your active marketing database. This is difficult for many marketers to accept. The instinct is to believe that a larger database automatically translates to more potential revenue. But the math shows otherwise. The 111 group generates 0 revenue, yet they produce the vast majority of the negative engagement penalties that harm your deliverability. By deleting the 111 group, you immediately raise the proportion of positive engagement across your remaining list. This high open rate signals to ESP algorithms that you are a highly trusted sender. In the strict filtering ecosystem of modern email marketing, intentionally shrinking your database serves as a mathematical requirement for increasing net revenue. Managing a database requires moving past a monolithic one-dimensional list and orchestrating a three-dimensional RFM behavioral matrix. This specific architecture directly protects your domain's sender trust score by mercilessly purging unengaged subscribers who act as dead weight. The archaic method relies on the sheer volume of mass email blasts. The modern mandate requires precision, using data-driven interventions tailored to specific user profiles. Maintaining this rigorous system is the only reliable way to ensure your marketing messages actually reach the inboxes of your highly profitable champions and big spenders. Winning that customers requires knowing exactly when, how often, and how heavily a customer previously invested in your brand, and acting accordingly. Brute force volume is no longer a viable strategy for long-term growth.